Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. The fallout is growing surrounding an Immigrations and Customs Enforcement arrest on Sunday at an Omaha restaurant. A video seen thousands of times on social media shows two ICE agents forcing a man to the ground, handcuffing him, and taking him out of the restaurant. An ICE spokesman said the agents were looking for the man's brother and detained the man by accident. He's still in custody, though, because ICE says he's in the country illegally from Guatemala and was working under a fraudulent name and social security number. Omaha's police chief addressed the incident yesterday. He reinforced Omaha police aren't checking people's documentation or immigration status.
We are not stopping and checking people's documentation. We're not checking their immigration status. That's for police community relations issues. That's so crime can come forward. That's so witnesses of crime can come forward.
The arrest happened at the Early Bird restaurant in West Omaha. The company's corporate office issued a statement confirming the man was an Early Bird employee and that ICE had not contacted the restaurant in advance of the arrest. After staving off a challenge from a former state senator in last year's election, Congressman Don Bacon will be facing another next year. Senator John Kavanaugh announced yesterday he's running for Bacon's 2nd District seat as a Democrat. Kavanaugh, the second Democrat to announce he's running, joining Denise Powell. Kavanaugh's wrapping up his 4th year representing District 9 in the Nebraska unicameral. He was just reelected to a seat in November. That means if he wins next year, it would create a vacancy that would need to be filled by Nebraska's Republican governor. Congressman Bacon held off another former state senator, Tony Vargas, in November and is currently in his 5th term in the U.S. House. The so-called Stand With Women Act is officially the law of the land in Nebraska. Governor Jim Pillen signed LB 89 at a ceremony in Lincoln yesterday. The bill passed the legislature on a 33-16 vote, requiring athletes to participate in sports teams that correspond to their biological sex as defined by Nebraska law. There are no restrictions when it comes to co-ed sports. The governor was joined at the ceremony by the bill's sponsor, Senator Kathleen Kauf, and prominent Nebraska athletes like Jordy Ball and Becca Alec.
I never could have imagined how much more pride I would feel in getting to be a part of what ultimately is so much more important than playing softball. And I truly feel like that was part of God's calling and me coming back home. But I just am so thankful for the leadership in this state.
I think we all have different moments in our life where we're asked to step up, whether it's greeting someone on the street with kindness or stepping into a commercial to try and save someone's life. So yeah, I think I'm just trying to fight the good fight, and it ends up landing me in places like this.
The bill, part of a larger movement nationwide targeting transgender athletes. President Donald Trump issued an executive order designed to ban transgender participation in sports. The Nebraska law was enacted despite the Nebraska School Activities Association already having a gender participation policy in place.
Maintain, nourish, and support your health by visiting our Good Health, Good Life shopping tab. You'll find select multivitamins, probiotics, and more designed for you. Make the good life even better and promote your health in 2025.
A new smoke advisory has been issued for eastern Nebraska, and now central Nebraska may also be affected as wildfire smoke from Canada continues to drift into the Midwest. State environment officials say the air quality may be unhealthy for sensitive groups all day today through midday tomorrow. A wide range of cities could be affected as far west as Lexington all the way east to the Missouri River, with southern Nebraska potentially seeing the worst of it. Unhealthy air quality can especially impact folks with heart or lung conditions, older adults, and children. Health officials urge people in these sensitive groups to take precautions to protect their health during this time. That could mean staying indoors and monitoring symptoms. Canada having another bad wildfire season. Most of the smoke reaching the American Midwest has been coming from fires northwest of the provincial capital of Winnipeg in Manitoba. Canada's worst ever wildfire season was 2023, choking much of North America with dangerous smoke for months. A former educator from central Nebraska running to succeed Kirk Penner on the State Board of Education. Angie Eberspacher of Beaver Crossing announced her candidacy yesterday. Eberspacher most recently served on the Educational Service Unit 6 board based out of Milford. She's also served as a spokeswoman for the Nebraska Republican Party. Now, Penner's announced he's not seeking re-election, but he told the Nebraska Examiner he's endorsing Eberspacher to replace him. A national day of celebrating the outdoors and the many ways in which we use them is this Saturday. National Trails Day is a celebration of trails throughout the national parks in the U.S. and a Southeast Nebraska Historical Park planning a full day of events. Jake Bartecki has more.
The Homestead National Historical Park in Beatrice is getting ready to celebrate their 3 miles of pristine woodlands and prairie trails, but also educate those in attendance as part of National Trail Days. With walks from everything from plants to birds, it's an opportunity for those in the area to learn about their national park.
Trail Days is just an opportunity for the Park Service and other agencies to celebrate all the amazing trails on the public land. Here at Homestead National Historical Park, we have some great walking trails, but we're also lucky to be very close to some National Historic Trails as well.
Jesse Boley is a resource management specialist for Homestead and says events begin Saturday morning and are open to all ages and all skill levels. The morning includes walks focused on birds and plant diversity within the park, while the afternoon features a butterfly and insect walk.
You can come for all three, or you can just come for one of them. But again, 8 o'clock was birds, 10 o'clock is plants, and 12:30 is the bugs.
Boley notes events that include biodiversity walks like Trails Day are good for the broader spectrum of citizen science. The park uses sites such as iNaturalist or eBird to help conduct wildlife surveys digitally to provide important data. In addition, events like Trail Days always help reinforce the park's presence.
It is a national event, and so there's a lot of people that may be hearing about the national event and looking for opportunities and ways to celebrate. And so, in finding it, they can find, stuff here at Homestead or maybe even stuff down at Rock Creek as well. And so a lot of stuff going on this weekend, but it'll be a nice event here at Homestead National Historical Park.
In Beatrice, Jake Bartecki, News Channel, Nebraska.
President Donald Trump following up on an executive order he signed on his first day in office this term. It directs cabinet members to look into any potential difficulties in screening visitors from particular countries, asking them for a list of nations the administration might want to consider for a travel ban. Well, now the president says he's acting on that list. Amy Kiley has more on the proclamation he signed last night.
We will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm.
President Donald Trump is banning travelers from a dozen countries starting Monday. He cites security concerns and says it's hard for the U.S. to vet visitors from those places.
As part of the role of the executive branch is to enforce the border laws of the country and to use discretion and judgment to protect the safety of Americans.
The ban is for nationals of Afghanistan, Myanmar, also known as Burma, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Trump's proclamation partly restricts the entry of people from 7 other countries. Notably, the list does not include Egypt. That's the native country of the suspect in Sunday's anti-Semitic attack in Boulder, Colorado. A White House official says the president made the final decision about the ban after that incident.
You don't have countries like Egypt. You don't have Saudi Arabia, where most of the 9/11 terrorists came from. So it seems to me like he cherry-picked which brown people he wanted to exclude.
The ban doesn't apply to lawful permanent residents, existing visa holders, and certain visa categories. It also allows exceptions when the Trump administration determines U.S. national interests are at stake.
They do have a responsibility to act responsibly in terms of who comes into the country, but we'll see where this all shakes out.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The Justice Department is pressing a federal appeals court to reverse a judge's ruling that blocked President Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship. The hearing before a 3-judge panel of the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals is the first time one of the nation's intermediate courts has heard oral arguments over the constitutionality of the controversial policy. The policy was blocked by several courts earlier this year before it could take effect. The hearing at a courthouse in Seattle comes as the Supreme Court is considering whether it should modify the lower court injunctions so Trump can begin partially enforcing the policy while the legal challenges are resolved. President Donald Trump's push to shrink the federal government has hit another legal roadblock. Yesterday, a federal appeals court denied the Trump administration's request to move forward with plans to effectively shut down the Department of Education. The First Circuit Court ruled the administration failed to prove it could lawfully carry out mass layoffs without impairing the department's core functions, like distributing school aid and enforcing civil rights laws. The ruling supports a lower court's order to reinstate employees, saying only Congress has the authority to dismantle a federal agency. Well, here's something to keep in mind anytime you hear data about inflation. A large chunk of data from Nebraska is no longer going to be counted. The Labor Department has cut back on the inflation data it collects because of the Trump administration's government hiring freeze. The department's Bureau of Labor Statistics produces the monthly consumer price index. They said yesterday they're reducing sample areas around the country and have completely stopped collecting data from Lincoln. Data from Provo, Utah and Buffalo, New York are also now off the list. The cutbacks have intensified worries among economists that government spending cuts could degrade the federal government's ability to compile economic data on employment, prices, and the broader economy. Experts are warning of a growing number of scams during Medicare Fraud Prevention Week. Medicare loses $60 to $80 billion a year to fraud, and this year, the Senior Medicare Patrol is giving out advice on how to spot a con. There are plenty of scams to be aware of. Advocates say beware of a caller asking you to verify your Medicare number, claiming that the program needs to send out a new type of card.
This is just a way for people to steal people's Medicare number and to commit identity theft and to defraud Medicare, ordering services or items that they most likely will never receive.
Fletcher encourages people to check their Medicare summary notices online at mymedicare.gov on a regular basis to make sure everything is in order.
It's a good way to see if Medicare is being charged for things that maybe somebody never received or from doctors they've never seen.
Caregivers can be on the lookout for medical equipment that arrives at the house even though the beneficiary never ordered it. Another scam involves tricking people into unknowingly signing up for hospice care. That one's especially dangerous because once a person's on hospice, Medicare will only approve palliative care and could mistakenly deny an essential surgery or medication. Father's Day is next weekend and spending is expected to reach record highs. Jen Sullivan has some tips on what you might want to get Dad this year.
It's the time of year to celebrate the dads in our lives, and shoppers are going all out.
They want to commemorate Dad. They want him to have a special day.
Catherine Cullen with the National Retail Federation says Father's Day spending is expected to reach $24 billion this year. Cullen says that's a record. So how much are people budgeting for? According to the NRF's latest survey, shoppers plan to spend just under $200 per person this year. That's about $10 more than last year.
There are certainly a lot of activities that consumers are planning for their dads, whether that's a special meal out, an event like golfing or going on a hike or bike ride, or maybe going to a sporting event together or tickets to a concert later in the year.
Shoppers are also spending money on clothing, gift cards, electronics, and personal care.
We've seen that about 43% of consumers plan to gift a subscription box. These are gifts that continue to give throughout the year.
Colin says some retailers are running sales ahead of Father's Day, so shoppers can score some deals right now. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
The Zone After School program is making moves, setting up shop at the Norfolk Senior Center, which organizers say could provide exciting plans for collaboration and student learning. Hanky Hazelton has more.
The Zone is an after-school program completely free for students 7 through 12 and provides one-on-one mentoring to have one goal in mind above everything.
Be a safe place. That can mean many different things. Safety as far as staying out of trouble. You know, we respect everybody and we want everyone to get along and feel safe in a social setting, and we want to work with them on that.
The Zone isn't just about fun and games. It's also a launch pad for a student's future, packed with life-changing classes that will set them up for success.
Give homework help. We have vocational help, you know, trying to match them up with a career. We serve dinner every night, and we do manners and etiquette classes. We have a financial literacy class. My goal is to get them off their phones as much as possible, so I really stress recreation and being outside.
The Zone, once located here at 218 Barras Street, seems like a big and spacious place, prompting the question to ask, why the move?
It's much of a home feeling than the warehouse feeling over there. So we do have more space, more opportunities for intergenerational programming to just teach our youth that, you know, with interacting with the seniors.
Reporting in Norfolk, Hanky Hazelton, News Channel, Nebraska.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com. Click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. This is News Channel Nebraska.